Hello guys and welcome to UEFA Nations League match day 3, and we have Italy, we have England playing France, so we are going to analyze 4 games with Daniele, Fisichella and with Alvaro, and of course with you. Leave your comments, press the like, subscribe, and now let's go on with the show. Third match day in the Nations League, and we are going to analyze good games with France, England, Italy, Germany. Hello, guys.
Ciao, Edu.
So
Ciao, Alvaro.
let's start with Austria, France. I think France is one of the teams that are disappointing us in this Nations League because, as we all know, the potential is very big, and they couldn't beat Croatia. They lost to Denmark in the last game. Danny, against Croatia, we saw many changes without Benzema, without Mbappe, with Ben Yedder, with 𝐿𝐭𝐴 in the attacking line. What can we expect against Austria? Because I think we were surprised, but in a positive way, with Austria in these first 2 games.
Yeah, probably we underestimated them, but after such a poor season for 𝐿𝐵𝐴 and Man United, you need to be excused. I think the changes for France in formation, they make sense because they got a strong team, they got a very good group of players, so it's okay for the Champs to try different players ahead of the World Cup. They avoided defeating Croatia. I think they could have lost, really. Some problems in front of goal, without Mbappe, without Benzema. In the end, they had to defend quite strongly. They didn't create many chances. Okay, 𝐜𝐵𝐴 made a couple of good saves, but I think in the end, Croatia could have won. And I think the problem with France is that despite the many good players they have, they don't score many goals. Only 18 goals scored in the World Cup qualifiers, but 10 of them were against Kazakhstan. So I think it maybe is the issue with creating the good chances, getting Mbappe, Griezmann and whoever in good positions. Austria actually, probably the surprise of this Nations League so far. Against Denmark, they were very unlucky. They did play well. They missed the last pass, maybe having the right decision in the last third. But, they already look a better team than in qualifiers. Don't ask me how they did it. Don't ask me how 𝐿𝐵𝐴 found the time to do it. It's a mystery, but they're okay. Last time at home, actually, they lost 4-0 against Denmark, and this time they could have won. They conceded in stoppage time. They improved a lot, actually, at halftime with the change, with Sabitzer, with Arnautovic, dominated most of the second half. It's not going to be easy for France, I think, this one. I'm going to go for a first half draw, 2-24.
We are liking a lot the surprises, Alvaro, in this Nations League because as we are analyzing, the teams are kind of tired. Perhaps this is another good one, as Danny said, and we are seeing already the touch of 𝐿𝐵𝐴, as we couldn't see in the Man United. I don't think it's that, but perhaps France also drop points and we can take advantage of the good odds of Austria getting points here.
Yeah, maybe the effect of 𝐿𝐵𝐴 has been that he hasn't touched much. He hasn't changed much since his arrival. And, I think that France is a way better team than Austria. Same thing applies probably to Denmark, not so much for Croatia. But, at the end of the day, the Austrian team is not terrible either. I think that what we have seen so far in the Nations League is the confirmation that, teams of the same level are playing in the same league. Therefore, there are not overwhelming favorites, overwhelming winners. And the only side so far that has 6 points out of 6 is the Danish team. But the rest of them are struggling. Look at Spain, 2 draws. Look at, for example, at the English side, 1 point only after 2 games. So I think this Nations League is all right because they are pairing up, or the UEFA is pairing up teams of more or less the same level, more or less, in the same competition. This is far better than having pointless friendlies at the end of the football season. So I think that what is happening with Austria and what is happening with France is just a reflection of the lack of having a really, really strong side in European football right now, because Italy, for example, won the Euro in 2021, but at the same time they haven't qualified for the World Cup. That tells a little bit the story, There is a lot of plenty of sides that are very leveled. And for this game, given the problems that France are having to win games, I cannot back them, even though I think that they are far better than Austria on paper, but I cannot back them fully, so I'm going to explore some other markets. Daniele has explained very well what's happening with both teams. I think that the fact that Didier Deschamps is making plenty of rotations makes the selection here, the odd selection, more difficult, because, for example, Benzema and Mbappé didn't play a single minute, neither common, in their last game, and however, I think that they are probably the three best men up front. Ben Yedder played. I rate Ben Yedder a lot, but he's not the same as Benzema as Mbappé are. So for this game, look, I could go for the following. Something like over 2.25 goals, that pays 178. I'm going to suggest many odds here because I like a few. Also, an Asian handicap of plus 0.25 for Austria in the first half. That pays 188, so the decaf double chance for the Austrians in the first half. And if you go to the individual market players, well, Benzema to score or assist, or Mbappé to score or assist, obviously make your choice according to who do you think is going to play. So listen to the press conference of Didier Deschamps ahead of the game. But them scoring or assisting pays 173. I like that a lot too.
Don't get me wrong, but we are talking about the World Cup champions, no? Like France, and I think they've been really disappointing, both in the Euros, even in the qualifiers for the World Cup. They were far from brilliant, Danny, and listening to you as well, we are not rating them that high when we see their squad. I think it's the best squad right now in the world.
Yeah, I think it is in terms of depth, probably, but probably is the system that Deschamps needs to perfect, and how to get the best chances out of Benzema, Griezmann, and Coman. But yeah, on paper, very, very strong with a lot of changes. It's I think it's a system, but these games could help Deschamps to find the right shape ahead of the World Cup.
Well, France, remember also, they won the Nations League, and now it's going to be difficult for them to go to the next round, especially if Denmark is able to beat Croatia. Denmark, 6 points, beat France, beat Austria. They are in great form, as we saw also in the Euros. Last time they played at home, by the way, was in that competition, as we all remember, against Finland, against Belgium, and they are favorites still. We find good odds, Alvaro, if we back Denmark, especially because Croatia, they played with the best team, I would say, especially with the old players, no, like Modric or Brozovic or Kovacic in the last game, so perhaps they rest in this game in Denmark.
Yeah, that's a possibility, of course. This is the end of the season, this is June, and the players are pretty tired, and some of the best Croatian players are pretty veteran as well. So yeah, I mean, this is a possibility that I wouldn't discard. I always thought that the Croatian side has been punching above their weight for 2 more years than they should have. I think that in the Euro 2021 they were already quite, doing something humongously big, which is like reaching the quarterfinals with a very similar team to the team they boasted in World Cup 2018, and by that time in 2018 I thought that they were already quite experienced and some of the players quite old. But yeah, I think that here what stands out for me is the Danish national team. They reached the semi-finals in the Euro, they qualified easily for the World Cup, and perhaps they don't have any standout star that you can look at and say, well, this player is phenomenal, he's a match winner. Christian Eriksen could be that guy, but of course we know that he is not in the category of Benzema, Mbappé, Lewandowski, and some other players that they are up there, But the team is performing really well. They went to France and they won 2-1 with 2 goals from Cornelius. They went to Austria and they won 2-1 again with goals from 𝐜𝐭𝐴𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐜𝐿, Striger, Larsen, players that, they are playing sometimes in peripheral clubs in terms of maybe playing in Italy, in Germany, not in the best possible sides. Even 𝐜𝐭𝐴𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐜 plays for Tottenham, and that is a team that qualified for the Champions League in the Premier League, but not much more than that. But altogether, they work very well. I think that they score a decent load of goals, and on top of that, they are attacking a lot. I mean, the Danish side. They produce a lot of attacking sequences. They cross the ball very well from the flanks, and now they are facing a Croatian side that they suffer a massive setback against Austria, losing 3-0, and then they made amendments. Yes, drawing with France in a very difficult game. 1-1 was the final result. So for this game, I'm going to go for the following. I think that Denmark should be the favorite, but that doesn't pay so well. So maybe both teams to score. I like this one, doubling up your stake, 202. Over 2.25 goals. I like this one as well, 194. And if you single out a player, well, maybe it's time for 𝐬𝐭𝐴 to score or assist if he plays. Again, listen to the press conference to get the latest news from every single player. 𝐬𝐿𝐴 to score or assist, 225.
But Denmark favorite, and understand why. They won 12 of the last 15 games. They scored in 15 of the last 16, often more than one goal. But if you look at the last 2 games in the Nations League, I don't think they fully deserve the 6 points. Lot of credit for coming back against France, but before Cornelius scored the second goal, 𝐿𝐴 hit the post, so that could have been 3 points for France. Similarly in Austria, 𝐿𝐿𝐴 had to do a lot of saves in the first half. In the second half, the Austrians were good. So I think, let's say Denmark is living dangerously, but then they got quality as well up front. As we said many times, it is a very attacking team. It is a team that often concludes the attacking sequence either with a cross or with a shot. So maybe the defeat against Austria was just a bad day for them. I think playing at home against France, the crowd was behind them. In the end, they could have won it, I think. But an old team is a team that doesn't make a lot of changes. Actually, the coach Dalic has said, okay, some players are going to be rested, the likes of Maier, Brekalo, they play a lot of games. But yeah, I can't imagine Croatia going to Denmark without Modric and Brozovic. They might be surrendering the midfield to the Danish and expose themselves too much. I think the both to score one, it's good, but let's not forget that Denmark had a very record fires. They only conceded 2 of them in the last game against Ireland when they were already qualified. For this reason, I'm going to back more an over 2.25 goals, which pays 199, which is very good because if there are only 2 goals in the game, you only lose half your stake.
Check the lineups, of course, before placing your bets, because the Croatian team changes a lot when they made changes, as we saw in the first 2 games against Austria and France. Then let's move on to the next group and let's go to the biggest game that we are going to analyze, England-Italy. This is the vendetta, or this is what English people want, of course, of the final of the Euros, although, well, this is a friendly game, no? It's not as important as the last one, but Danny, I'm sure every single English supporter want their national team to beat Italy, and England is arriving to this game also with the need of performing well after the defeat against Hungary, after only that draw, even if it's a good draw, no? In Germany, how do you see this game? This is more than a friendly, in my opinion, especially for English.
It's extremely competitive. It is extremely competitive for what happened last year in the final, of course. And yes, England wants the revenge. Italy are in a good path. They showed that at least there is a bit of future ahead of us. These 2 games against Germany and Hungary, they were far from perfect, but Italy showed good improvements with Pellegrini, with Cristante. There is more movement up front. The likes of 𝐿𝐴𝐴, the 17-year-old, Raspadori, Spinazzola is back as a left back. He was the best left back at the Euros before the injury. So there is material for Mancini to work on, but I think that the road to success is very long. But, now Mancini is experienced, is experimenting, is changing players, giving a lot of debuts to players that they don't even play in Serie A. I was wondering whether for this game Mancini might revert back a little bit to the old guard. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Bonucci, for example, playing on this one. Maybe the likes of Jorginho, maybe the likes of Belotti, because it's a game that needs experienced players, especially from home, a Molineux, a Wolverhampton, as they would do. But, against Hungary, at times, Italy showed some really excellent moves to get players into shooting positions. So, second win for Italy in the last 7 games. As I said, the road to success won't be short, but, the signals are there. For England, they look tired. I don't know how you saw them, Alvaro, in the last 2 games, but they look really, really sluggish, especially at the beginning. Maybe it's because, Premier League, Champions League, tired, and they do struggle, I would say. In the second half, better against Germany. Once they put Grealish on, they took more chances, they were more courageous. The thing with Southgate now, it's a bit of a dilemma, because if he plays a back four, I think he's more suited to the type of players he has, especially if he plays Trent Alexander on the right back, and the left back again he plays a right-footed players like Trippier, but I think he's more suited. If he plays a back three, it's better because there is more protection for Maguire, whose lack of pace is clear, and that's an issue. But then they sit very deep and they surrender the possession in midfield to teams that can, pass it around very well. So I think let's see, because I don't think Southgate has solved the issue as well. And yes, against Germany, they suffered, both a bit unpredictable, both to score, I would say. Pays quite a lot, 220.
I have the feeling, Alvaro, that England is going to take this game much more seriously than Italy.
It's possible. They don't play in London, by the way.
No, in Wolverhampton.
They are playing at the Molineux Stadium, and this always made me wonder, why is England always playing in Wembley? That happened in another country. Italy always playing in Rome, or Spain always playing in Madrid. I will find it not fair. But here in England, it has happened a lot, and it happens a lot. Wembley is the national stadium, but I wonder what people from Newcastle... No, well, I know what people from Newcastle or Birmingham or people from any other city in the country think. They don't contest it, they don't challenge it, but there is an injustice in there. I'm sorry, English people, but I really think that this is an injustice. A national side should be a little bit more itinerant and travel from city to city just to play for the rest of the country. But anyway, this game is going to be played in the Molineux. And I kind of agree with you, Edu. I think that England are going to take it very seriously. But I think that Italy, too. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a way, the Nations League, believe it or not, is a way to get access to the Euro 2024 playoff qualification. So in case you screw it up in the group stage or in your qualification group, if you win your Nations League path, then you have direct access to the playoffs, which is something that, in my opinion, shouldn't go overlooked here. The Nations League is not completely a friendly tournament because it offers a second chance, a secondary alleyway to qualify for European competition or for the World Cup. For this game, I think that this game is going to be a very attacking game because Italy and England are the teams that are producing more attempts and more attacks from the League A sides. I'm not talking about Estonia, Finland, Montenegro, whoever. The League A, the important one, if you look at it, England and Italy are producing a lot of attacking sequences, the most. 27 for England, 28 for Italy. That's a lot, 55 in total in 2 games. So for this game, I'm expecting a lot of attacking football. I'm expecting goals, probably. But all that said, well, none of the team are doing perfectly right now. Italy, for example, drew with Germany, but in my opinion, Germany deserved a bit better. Italy lost the Finalissima. The other day, they only beat Hungary 2-1. I thought that they were going to get a clean sheet, but they didn't. And when it comes to England, well, Daniele was saying that England looked a little bit tired maybe the other day. I think that the problem with England is that they don't have a team to control the game. I think I don't rate the English midfielders when it comes to keeping the possession and controlling the game and giving good passes. I think that Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips are not those players, and Jude Bellingham, who is phenomenal, is not that player either. England has a problem with the...
Not yet.
Bellingham, he will never be, because he is not that player. Jude Bellingham is more of a box-to-box footballer, very good when he gets to the edge of the box, but they don't have any player like Pedri, or any player like Jorginho, or any player like, for example, Joshua Kimmich, who gave an excellent pass to Hoffman the other day. They don't have any player who can produce that pass, apart from Jack Grealish, but he plays on a different part of the pitch anyway. I hope that Grealish plays because the other day he played 18 minutes and he was very good against the German side. For this game, I am expecting goals, as I said, but I also expect England to win this time because they are playing at home, and maybe because the home factor is going to play a part, and because this Italian side, as as much as they do well collectively, sometimes they are missing some players who make the difference in the boxes, especially in the attacking box. So England to win plus both teams to score, that pays 433. I also like the Asian handicap minus 0.75 for England, 206. And then if you single out a player, Harry Kane to score or assist, 183. I love that one because Harry Kane is banking a lot of goals, and the other day he scored his goal number 50 for the English national team.
Well, goals in the Molina Stadium is something new, especially this season that we got bored watching Wolverhampton in that stadium. Goals in the England against Italy. We saw this game in the Euros, and the next one, Hungary-Germany. Remember, guys, we also saw it in the Euros and was a great football game. We saw a surprise. Germany at the end was able to equalize that game 2-2, but I think we all expected Germany to win that game, and now they are facing again in the Puskás Stadium, and now the odds again are very favorable. Alvaro, for Germany, 1.5. They haven't beaten big teams lately. England, Italy, Netherlands. Can they drop points again, Germany, in Hungary?
I think that Germany this time are going to win this game. I think that Hansi Flick is already making improvements to the side. Germany was, in my opinion, Daniele may disagree, better than Italy a week ago, and they were as good as England or even better the other day, but they couldn't capitalize their chances. There weren't so many, but they control the game, and I think that they are just trying to click it a bit better. But Hansi Flick has made this Germany more vibrant than it was under Jogi Löw, because under Jogi Löw you have the feeling that the team was a little bit stagnant. So for this game, look, I think that I'm going to back Germany. I think that they still have a hell of a goalkeeper who makes very important saves, critical saves to keep the team alive in the games. And then they produce a lot of good football. 𝐬𝐭𝐿, 𝐾𝐞𝐭'𝐬, some of the best midfielders in the world. Everything that England doesn't have in midfield, Germany has it. Then the wingers are kind of working, even though Sané, we spoke about him, he hasn't been perfect lately, and even the other day in the goal of Harry Kane, after Harry Kane was the fault inside the box, the referee took some time to call that action, and Germany had an immediate counter-attack after the penalty on Harry Kane. It was Sané, Walker and another German player, so a 2-on-1, and Sané didn't make a good decision. So that tells you that maybe the German player is going through perhaps a football crisis right now, but I think that it's a matter of time that the best German players click together. Musiala, for example, is doing that and is playing very well. They click together and they become a better side. When it comes to the Hungarians, well, fair play to them. They got 3 points. They beat England 1-0. Szoboszlai was very good in that game, but then they lost to Italy 2-1. So for this game, I'm going to go for the following. Germany has 2 points. I think it's time for them to get their first win in the tournament. So I like the half-time, full-time market here. So Germany winning the first half and keeping the win in the second half. That pays 2.2. I like that one a lot. Or maybe if you think that Germany is going to win, but they are not going to thrash the Hungarians, Asian handicap plus 1.25 for Hungary. That pays 187, meaning basically that if if Hungary wins, you win. If Hungary draws, you win as well. If Hungary loses by 1, you get half a win. But as I said before, the half-time, full-time market is my favorite here. Germany to win the first half and to keep the win in the second half.
Germany were amazing for intensity against England, especially in the first half. Gundogan, Kimmich, as you mentioned, they are unbeaten in 11 games with Hansi Flick. So yeah, things are starting to click in for them. I think they passed the ball very well. They played even better than against Italy. The thing with Germany is that they played 2 games against 2 top opposition. They have been the better side, but they didn't manage to be the better side for 90 minutes. They had lapses of concentration that allowed Italy to take the lead and England to come back in the last 20 minutes. They need to find that consistency within the game, but otherwise, a very good German side, a German side that is very hard to beat. For Hungary, surprisingly, against Italy, they had a lot of chances. Donnarumma had to pull a few good saves. In the end, it was 2-1. They could have deserved perhaps a little bit more, but on the other hand, they also conceded chances. Italy hit the bar and had good chances as there. So I think Hungary loves when they can defend and counter-attack with their 5-3-2 and exploit the wide areas. But I think against Germany, they're not going to see much of the ball. I know at the Euros it finished 2-1 for Germany. It was a very tight game. This could be a different story in Budapest. So, yes, that's true. In Budapest, so Germany to win the first half. I like it, which goes in line with what Alvaro said. 2-11 for Germany to win the first 45 minutes.
Hungary took the lead in the Euros, actually.
Yes.
So in that very tough group also with Portugal and France. Okay, this is it for games we have in this video. Danny, let's put together an ACCA.
France to take the lead. Denmark, Croatia over 1.5 goals. England, Italy, double chance in the first half. 1-2, so either win for Italy or England. Hungary, Germany, over 2.5 goals. The total odds just above 8.06.
And Alvaro, yours?
Austria, France over 2.25 goals. England to win and both teams to score in England, Italy. And Germany to win. Altogether, 11.25.
Thank you, guys. See you soon with the next Nations League games. Bye-bye.
Thanks soon. Bye-bye.
We have now all the info for this third match day in Oddspedia. Remember, leave your comments, press the like, subscribe, or if you prefer, listen to our podcast. Bye-bye.